Hello guys, welcome back. Part 10 now. This is the part 10 of the Bronco build, and this cockpit, we're doing the photo etch set from Edward with in the cockpit. If you remember in part 9, we did this detail in here. I've got these pieces off the fret now ready to add to here. So this is going to be all about bending and fitting them. This is, as I've said in part 9, this is actually sort of aimed at newbies to photo etch, not necessarily beginners in modelling, but people that are kind of new to photo etch, and it's got some little hints and tips and tools and stuff in there for them. So if you are an experienced modeller, please don't tell me in the comments below that I need to be covering tools in a separate video. This is basically that separate video as part of this series. So hang fire. Right, so we've got these parts in here now. If you remember, we added the plastic in the back, and we showed you how to fold the brass up and everything. So now we've got to do some more folding. We're going to fit these parts here. We've got this part here going in on here. That's in that area there. And then we've got this piece here, which is going to go in there. And then we've got this piece here, which is going to go down the side here. Now, I'm not too worried about adding plastic in here to support that one at this stage. I may put something in behind there in a minute. We'll see. In fact, I think what I probably will do, I think I probably will put a piece of plastic in there, but I won't have it come right back, because we can see on the bulkhead here, we've got these little plastic lugs. The grey plastic is there for the kit parts to fit in, because we did have consoles that were like this high. And if you remember, I put these pieces in the bottom to actually get everything aligned. Now, I've added these lumps of plastic in the side to position the floor pan sideways, but that's not actually correct now. So what we need to do is remove that plastic that I've actually added, and also remove that raised grey piece there. Okay, so if you remember from part 7, we added this plastic in here basically to help position the floor and hold it in place while we were actually assembling all of this unit here. Remember, this build is called My Way. It's not called My Way because I'm a big head or something. It's because the actual build sequence in the instructions is nearly impossible to follow and end up with a nice model at the end of it. So that's why it's called My Way. It also prevents people from accusing me of saying that I'm trying to tell them how to do something. I'm not. This is just my way of doing it. Okay. And also other people tell me I talk too much. Well, turn the speakers off, or just fast forward or something. So there we go. And this is one of the problems for all YouTubers. I'm sure everybody has the same problem. Is, you know, I get so many people that comment, I love the way you describe everything, you explain everything, thank you so much for doing these videos, blah 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 blah. And then you get the odd person that comes on and says, oh, you're boring, shut up, you talk too much. You know, you can't please all the people all the time. So anyway, there we go. So I'm sanding this off now with a hard stick. I've put my pan on there so that I know when the pen disappears then everything is nice and flush. And this is an Infinity photo etch sanding stick with a self-adhesive piece of 400 grit on it, so it makes for a really nice hard stick, so that you end up not radiusing anything. If I went with a normal sanding stick, I would end up with soft edges. So this is actually going to give me a nice flat surface. I can't remember if we've got any photo etch to add to here or anything, but it's going to be nice and flat anyway. So that's going to go on there now. Now, the only way we're going to be actually position this is by actually having the sides flush with the sides here. So that's not too much of a problem. Here we go. So that's nice and smooth now. So that's that done. So we'll put that to one side out of the way. I think I will add a piece of plastic in here just to give it some support. So I'll get my scrap plastic bin. So if you use any plastic card, guys, don't throw it away. You always should keep it. And yeah, that's going to be cool. So yeah, keep your bits of scrap plastic, and then you've always got something to you know, it's just in instances like this where you need a little slither, you don't have to cut up a full sheet, you just use your little box of scrap, as it were. So I'm going to cut that off a little bit too long as we did before, and then I can sand it square afterwards. And that's going to glue in there beautifully. In fact, I'll glue that side, make sure it's nice and square. Okay, so I'm sanding it square so that the edges are nice and square. Yeah, and we've got that lovely, so I can come along with my Mr. Cement S. I'm going to square up the front because it's not quite square in there. There we are. Let's just put some glue in there. Capillary action will pull that along. Get it nice and flush on the top, and just to make sure it is flush, I'll come along with a rule. Just hold the rule on there like that, and then use something, anything, and just push the plastic down up against the rule, and then you know it's nice and parallel then. Plenty of glue in there, don't be worried about it doing too mad, you want it to bond in nice and solid. Okay, so that's that. Let that flash off on the front, and then we'll just do that again, move it around, make sure it's nice and flush. Just like so, and then we'll give that 5 minutes to dry. Alright, so while that's drying we can go on and work on this other side in here. So I've got this piece here, this is part 31. Okay, there it is there, and that's going in there. And you can see that I've roughed the back of it up, I've folded over the edge, okay, as it says, and we're just going to slot that in place. And that's just going to slot in place just like that. It's going to sit in there. Okay, and then we can use our tweezers just to maneuver it, make sure it's in the right place. There we go, that's just going down like that, so I can hold that there. Again with my round knife blade in the super glue, which is all dried up I think. Yep, so I need some fresh super glue. That's the wrong one, Nige. A thin one, this is the Vital Bond that I like to use, and the lid's getting sticky, which means I need to put some more Vaseline on it. Drip on there, wipe it off with a rag before you put the top back on. There we go. So now we pick this up again, get this all located, make sure it's all in place, nice and solid. As I say, none of this is really mega important because it's going to be very difficult to see on the finished model, I think. I'm going to come in from underneath so I don't fill those rivet holes up with glue. There we go. And then turn it over and just run some glue in on that joint there. There we go. Knife blade is a fantastic tool for applying super glue, or thin super glue, because you can get it right in there and it will just capillary off the edge of the blade, and if it's a long area you can roll it down the edge. Really, really good. There we go, that's on there, lovely. Just like that. It's going to look really good actually when it's painted and dry brush, because these hard edges from the metal are going to really look good. Right, so this is all ready now. So once again, black magic marker on the back edge, and then sanding stick. We're just going to sand this off. It's got a slight angle on it because of the angle of the rear bulkhead. Going to be like that. Just keep going until we start to see the black pen starting to disappear. There we go, that's that done. And then on the top, once again I'll use the pen just to make sure. I'm just going to run over the top. Make sure nothing's ridiculously sticking up. There we go, I think that's all pretty good. That could come up a little touch. And then on the side, we'll just sand away. There we go. I think I may have sanded off a little bit too much at the back there. I think this should be parallel. Oh no, it's fine. So what we can do is just clean that up after we put the photo etch on and make sure it's all nice and flush. And I'm just going to quickly check that in the fuselage there's nothing that's going to get in the way. Okay, so you can see we've got a raised area there, which has been put there to stop the plastic sinking, or it's just an ejector pin. So I'm just going to carve that off of there level with there, just like so. Of course this blade's got glue on it, so it won't be exactly sharp. And just gently scrape that away. That's better. Now that will sit there flush now rather than be sitting up on top that lump. So I'm going to come in with my straight blade that hasn't got glue on it. Just gently slice that away. There we are. Right, so all I've done there is taken the top off of that circular ejector pin mark to allow the floor to go in, because I've had that piece of plastic. So basically the rule of thumb here is with your photo etch you're adding to the kit, so make sure there's nothing going to mess you up and bite you in the ass. Okay, so this panel here is now going to go on. Now this panel here it's got rivet detail on one side and nothing on the other, so that's going to go in like so, and that's going to sit on there. Okay, now I fitted it first because I wanted to make sure that this panel didn't come too far forward. Now, is this square or is it rectangular? Okay, so that's going to go there like that. Got some glue on my knife blade. Hold that in place. And then put the glue onto the edge and let it capillary in. Just like that. Okay, now got to build up a glue on the blade now, so it's not working so well. Let's just come on another blade and just scrape that glue off. There you go, you're back to having a sharp blade again. And that will enable me to come along on the top, put some glue in there, let that run down the back, let it capillary in, and then the same in there, down the sides. If you notice, I'm coming in from behind the panel because I don't want to fill the rivet detail in with super glue, because it will fill the rivet detail in with super glue. Basically. Right, just going to brush that away, give that a brush off. Now then, that panel there, I want to make sure that's still going to fit. And yes, it does, that still fits in there lovely. Okay. So that's that one in. I think I might just do a bit of sanding on there just to take that hard edge away, because it's sort of sticking out and it doesn't look very realistic. It kind of looks like a piece of photo etch that's been glued on rather than a panel. And it looks like I've got some glue over on the edge, so just rub that away. That's better. There we are. What we will do is give this a coat of primer, and then when we actually see it with the primer on, see I just pulled that panel away there, then that wasn't very clever, was it? So we'll get some more glue. This glue is drying so fast. I can only think it's the light. So we get some more glue out, and then I'll get that glued in, and then I'll come back. Okay, now for the fun bit. We're going to fold this one up and fit that. So that's going to go in there. That's going to replace that side console that we cut off. So we're going to fold this up. So once again, we'll get our folder. As I say, you always try and fold the thicker part and hold the thinner part. If you notice on here, we've got an issue. If we put this in here and fold, okay, we stand the risk of catching that end and folding it up. So if I can grab my razor blade, so if I do what I normally do and put this in here, okay, and then just fold, I've got to be careful not to catch that edge. If I put it this way round, like I say, always fold the thicker part, then what we will do is run the risk. What I do is put the blade in the groove, run the blade up to the edge of the groove like that. If I now fold that like that, I'm going to actually fold across here where I don't want to. So I'm going to hold it, I'm going to put it in this way round, hold the thicker part and fold the thinner part, which is what I wouldn't normally do. Get the groove in the blade, push it underneath, slide it under. Okay, and now that's clamped in place, and then just work from this end, get the blade under, slide it along so that you've got a nice area there you can get under it. Lift it up, slacken the top slightly, push it up, and then tighten again. And what that does is, as the material bends, it kind of stretches it, and the outside is stretching and the inside is shrinking as it bends. And what's happening is it's trying to, rather than just, if this is where the metal is held and you're trying to bend it like this, rather than, you can see it in my finger there, when I bend that around there, you can see it wants to pull out. So you just slack it off, let it pull out, and then clamp again and bend it. Okay, so that's my little tip. If you, with really fine stuff, really thin stuff, you know, sometimes you bend it 90 degrees, it will snap. Okay, so get that nice and square. Just look along the end of it, make sure it's nice and square. All right, and then we'll see how this fits. And look at that, beautiful. Fits on there lovely, just like that. Slight little overhang on the edge there. We're going to have to sand that away because that's going to interfere. What they've done, if you look on the back here, if you look on the back, the actual plastic is angled to allow it to fit the bulkhead, but the photo etch, they haven't done that. So we are just going to have to remove some brass from there. I'm going to do it now before I glue it on because it's likely to try and ping off if I do it once it's glued. So I'm just putting an angle on the back of there. It's all going to be behind the seat anyway, so no one's going to see it, but just putting that angle on there, and there we go. We've now got a matching angle on the part there. Okay, so that's all looking good. That's held in place there. So we can now come along with our knife, wherever it may be. Here it is. Get our super glue and run the super glue under the edge of it. Just like that. So that's tacked in place. And hopefully it'll wick in and get as much in there as we can. One of the problems, of course, it'll go to the edge and then it will dry, so it's going to, you know, going to get glue right the way across to the centre, but it's not a structural part. We're not overly worried about it. Okay, and we've got some glue on the top there. We'll make sure those rivets remain clear. This is the problem, you see the glue builds up on the blade and you don't have the sharp edge anymore. So, as you've seen me do a million times already, just come in with another blade, just clean it off. And then you've got a sharp blade again, and we can, with this glue here, we can just scrape that off gently. And then we can go over with our fibre pencil. Just make sure there's no excess glue anywhere on these panels. And then I'm going to do on here is sand this plastic away up to the edge of the brass. There we go, I'm happy with that. There we go. And then we'll just quickly check on the back, we're all okay. Yep. And now that should fit on there. Like so. We've got the edges to pick up on, so we know we're in the centre. There we are, and we do a quick check in the fuselage. Make sure everything's going to go together okay. Drop this in behind it. And there we go, guys. There's our modified rear fuselage. Quite a fun little job, this one. I do enjoy photo etch when it's a bit of miniature fabricating. And then we'll just check that in there once again. As you can see, all looking lovely. I don't think we need to worry about those ejector pin marks because the bottom ones are hidden behind this panel and the top ones you're never going to see looking down in there anyway. We've got those ejector pin marks in the sides here we're going to have to deal with. Okay, I'm not sure if we're going to have to deal with those. No, they won't matter, but they will. We need to get rid of those. And on the other side, put that in there like that. Yeah, we've got that one there. That one there to get rid of. So I will just put a dot in there and a dot in there. So it's just those two we've got to get rid of. The others are fine. So what I'm going to do to start those off, we get our glue looper. Just put a puddle of glue, super glue in there. You're not trying to fill it up. If you get it level, it will dry back. It will dry back to next to nothing. But it just helps because we'll use Mr. Surfacer, obviously, because I use Mr. Surfacer for everything. I actually have Mr. Surfacer on my porridge. Don't try that at home, kids. I'm joking. There we go. So that'll just give that a starting chance, and then when we use Mr. Servicer, it hasn't got as much to fill, so it won't sink back as much. And then if you do have a cigarette lighter, if you're an adult, with these glue loopers, you can see you get a ball on the end. So you get a ball of glue on the end. Come on with a cigarette lighter. You can see how well it cleans that off. Okay, so there we are. Another little tip. Don't be doing that near any flammable objects like super glue, and don't do it if you're not old enough or responsible enough to be using one. So there we are, that's all that done. The other thing to remember is when you're doing this, on your photo etch instructions, cross the numbers off as you do them, and then the parts that aren't crossed off should stick out like a sore thumb. Yeah, we've already done that one. So there we go. I'll cross through there as well. Okay, so we've got some detail to add into the side of the fuselage halves. Looks like we've got nothing going in the other side. It's only into this one that we're adding detail. This box here is apparently all the rear officer gets, or the guy sat in the back. It's an oxygen control or something. I found some photos. Then we've covered up the holes for the rudder pedals in the rear, so we're not going to worry about them. So we're only going to make rudder pedals for the front. So they are number 10, which are probably going to be on here. They're on the colour sheet. Okay, so we've got enough for front and back. So we're going to end up with a nice little spare couple of rudder. I keep calling them radar, don't I? Couple of rudder pedals. 9 and 9A. Oh, okay, right. Yeah, I'll shut up. They're going to go on there. Which seems very strange to me that they would have rudder pedals out here unless they fold in. Maybe they fold in. I'll check my references. But okay, so let's get these rudders folded up. They are actually already silver, so I'm tempted to not put them in yet. I think we will put them in and we'll paint them, and then we'll rub some of the paint off, and that'll make them look used. So we'll get our radius blade. In fact, I'm going to have a tidy up and then I'll come back. Okay, so we've had a tidy up and we've had a good night's sleep and everything. This is the next day. So I've got those little rudder pedals off. Got my drop of glue there in my Pringles lid, new fresh Pringles lid. Good excuse for eating Pringles, this. And we've got the cockpit there, ready to have the rudder pedals fitted. So the first thing we need to do is fold over these pedals. Now I've taken them off the fret, I've cleaned up all the edges, and I've gone over the back with a sanding stick to get them to go down. Now you might be tempted to put the glue on and then fold them over. Problem is with that, when you do that, the glue will ooze out. So once again, I'm going to fold these over, just like so. Okay, I'm going to hold it together, and then with my little glue applicator, I can put some glue on the back of it and try and hold it. And get that glue to go up into the joint, and that will wick in there and we won't get any glue oozing out. And that's those glued together without any glue oozing out, and all looking nice and tidy, as you can see there. Okay, and then once we've done that, we've got to bend the bottom part back just like that, and we'll go just over 90 degrees, and then that little tab, as you can see there, that's going to sit, see, you got that little tab on the bottom, that's going to sit on the floor. So we'll do the same on the other one. Grab hold of it, bend it over, hold it shut, Get some glue on the glue looper. Put some on there, let it wick up through. Give it a quick squeeze. Job done. Grab the little tab on the bottom and bend it back like so. Okay, and then once they're in, what we'll do is put another glob of glue on the black. Getting an L in every word there. What we'll do when we get it in, we'll put another blob of glue on the back, and then that will fix them into position. I may even use the thicker stuff for that. So these are all sanded and roughed up, and they're ready now to go in. So what we're going to do is glue them in over those two holes. You've got those two holes in the floor there, and they are designed to hold the plastic rudder pedals. Now these are just too wide to go in there, so what I'm going to do is come in with my knife and just give that a little removal, just literally a scrape, just to try and give it a bit of room to go in. So they should go in a bit easier now. There we go, that goes all the way to the bottom, and the same on that side. And I've got a little bit of plastic flash in there, so get that out. Right, so we shall go away. Piece of plastic does not want to let go. Right, so that's the back face, this is the front face. So I'm just going to dip the rudder pedal in the thin CA, and then drop that down in there. You're going to get like one chance at that. There we go. It is actually nice that it's so close to the side, because now we can put glue down the back once we've got the angle set, and that will really make sure they stay in there and don't fall out. One of the worst things you get with model aircraft, with all your detail in the cockpit and everything, is parts start to come loose and fall out after it's built. Now a lot of people don't bother with rudder pedals. I always do. I'm not here to cut corners, I'm here to build a model, so leaving parts out sort of defeats the object as far as I'm concerned. There we go, we can put some more glue down there now. Make sure it's got a nice coating in there, and because I've got them set on the right angle, in fact that one needs a little twist. There we go. And now we can put some glue down the sides to actually fix those pedals into place. Just like that. So there we go, they're in. You can see now how lovely they look. And then what we'll do, because they're nice and bright and shiny, what we'll do is, after we've painted the cockpit, we'll give them a rough little brush with a wire brush or something, or a knife, and we'll just scratch them up, and that will give them a little bit of a used look. Even if you're doing a very, very lightly worn aircraft, it would still have some wear on those pedals. And I'm just actually putting super glue in behind here, just to give them an extra little something to bond in there with. Like I said, I really do not want these falling out. I don't mean falling out with each other, like arguing and stuff. I mean like falling out. You know what I meant. So there we go, that's the pedals in. So we can come along with our pen, and we can cross that one out. So that's that one done. Okay, so what else have we got to go in here that isn't painted? We've got parts here going on the seat. So we've got that one there, we've got those there, we've got fit. I think these are all levers for the canopy. 35, I'm not sure what 35 is. 35 is going down the side of the seat, so we can get them on. The idea, I want to get everything that's not painted glued onto the model, and then we can paint everything as one assembly. And then everything that is painted will go on after we've painted. So there we are. So basically I think that's pretty much it. There's a 33, there's a couple of handles there to go on the sides of the seats. 20, is that on here? No, 20 is going to be on that one, I guess. Yeah, there they are. They're pre-painted. They're ejector handles. So ejection handles, should I say? So yeah, we'll get on here what we can that's not painted, and then we can paint everything as one. So I'm going to go on and get this done. You've already seen folding, you've seen gluing, you've seen how I cut the parts off the fret. So I'm going to go on now and just do some get these parts on the seat and everything. Maybe show you a little bit of that, and then we'll move on from there. Okay, so moving forward with this, and you can see here I've got the joysticks in, the control sticks. With this one, you can see in the bottom here, I can find a pointer, there's the original hole for it, and then there's the hole you cut through the brass. So the photo etch brass that goes in there as a hole, you cut through that, and then you fit the control column through there. And then I've got the little control arm on the side there that just had to be cut down a bit and shortened, because as you can see, the brass has a different position side to side than the actual hole that was in the kit. So that's gone in. I've also done the removal here for these rear rudder, they fold out of the way, these rear rudder pedals. I've cut them off, and now we can, I've just got those placed in, and they're not glued. But I've also fitted this arm, this actuator arm that goes in there, so that when this goes down into here, those arms actually pop up behind there, so it sort of makes a simplified version of that assembly. It's quite a complex linkage assembly up in there, but I think with a wash and a bit of dry brushing, I think that's going to really sort of come out quite nice. I'm not sure how much we're going to see of it. I've also put the control column in the front, and I've also got that little panel there that I've put in as part G18. I've cut off these two blocks here. They go in the corners here, but I'm not going to put them in until I glue this rear bulkhead in, because I'm not really sure at what point I'm going to glue that in yet. I think I'll put the rudder pedals in and then glue that in, and we can deal with all the seams and everything. I've started work on the seats. You can see the seats, they tell you to glue the base to the lower cushion, and then the rear cushion into here. And you can see what's interesting in the instructions, they're showing you that cutout in there, but the actual seats don't have a cutout in the top of them. So a bit strange. And also that we've got the photo etch to give you that, so we've got to cut the tops off of those and put the photo etch in. I haven't glued the headrest in, or the cushions or anything, because obviously we'll paint the seats and then put the cushions in after, and that saves us having to do any sort of high detail brush painting. And what we'll do is we'll build up the seats, we'll paint the seats, build them up, and then give them a wash and everything. You can see they're calling out the photo etch seat belts there, but we don't need them. Sides are going on there, and you can see I've got the sides on. They're quite a nice fit. All goes together, no real positive location or anything, but just get it all together and then check they fit in the slots in the cockpit like that, and that'll make sure that your side spacing is okay. We've got some photo etch to put on the sides of the seats, as you can see here, so we'll get all that done. I think that'll be in the next part. I'm not really sure how long this has gone on yet. I also wanted to talk about photo etch in the kit. You get this photo etch sheet, small photo etch sheet, and we've got these parts here, they're number 7s, and we've got a part here number 12, and they're actually, I didn't see these originally in my other bit I did yesterday. But we've got PE7, we've got control levers there going in to the slots. We've also got the plastic control levers going in there, and then you've got this one PE12 at the front, which is going to sit in the side of that quadrant in there. So all very nice. It's all going to look great when it's all painted and dry brushed and everything and washed. It's going to look lovely. So call that a day for now on that one. So I'll see you with part 11, where we'll basically get some painting done, get these seats finished, and go from there. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.